Hey everybody, Matt here. Thanks for stopping by. Just a real quick video today to update my leveling feet. So I noticed the other day when I was trying to lift one of the leveling feet, instead of the block coming up, the bolt pulled the T-nut right out of the block. So the fix for this is pretty simple. I just put the T-nut back in the block and then took a scrap piece of 1/4-inch plywood. Now right here, for some reason I thought it would be useful to scribe a line around the block onto the plywood, but in the end I didn't really need to do that. I did take an awl and kind of scratch a mark that shows where I wanted to drill, but I could have used the pen that's sitting right there as well. So I'm just going to clamp this down real quick. I'm going to put a 1/2-inch Forstner bit in my drill and drill a through hole. Now the bolt that's going to go through the hole is 3/8 in diameter and the hole is 1/2 inch, so there should be plenty of clearance. So I'm just going to thread that bolt back into the T-nut that's pressed into the block just to help hold the piece of plywood there. Now again, I'm taking the pen and making a couple of marks here, but that really wasn't necessary. Take the Forstner bit out and put in a 1/8 inch twist bit. I'm just going to drill some holes right here. There'll be pilot holes for the drywall screws you see right there. Now at this point I had to go hunt down my countersink bit. And while using it, I discovered it is very, very dull. So I'll either have to figure out a way to sharpen it or just replace it. So now I'm going to drive in 2 1 5/8 drywall screws. So now I can take the bolt out. Definitely snug. Maybe the plywood moved a little bit when I was driving those screws. So I'm going to use my Japanese saw to try and trim off the plywood. Clamp it down in place first just to make it a little easier. And then saw around all 4 sides of the block just to trim off the plywood. Then it was off to a belt sander just to kind of smooth the plywood. This is a Harbor Freight belt sander with a disc sander. It's a pretty useful device. I've used it often just for quick little sanding jobs like this. Alright, so now I can give it a go here. So I'm just going to thread the block back in place. I'm sure you can see what the whole idea here is, just to basically put a cap over the T-nut so that as the block is being pulled up by the bolt, the block indeed comes up rather than the T-nut getting pulled out of the block. And for those that didn't see the leveling feet video, here I'm just showing that the table does have a rock in it until I adjust the foot and take the rock out. And then just to double check, I'm going to raise the foot and demonstrate that the T-nut is staying in place.